We thank the Lord for giving you the eagerness to learn the Bible lessons daily. These programs are sent every day to help those who do not get the time to read the Bible systematically, as well as those who have already read the Bible several times yet desire to get reminded about the teachings of the Bible in a clear and deep way in English and Tamil languages. These programs are being sent in both audio and script formats every day to help us grow in the knowledge of God. Kindly continue to listen, read, and be benefited by these lessons daily. However, these programs should in no way be used to replace the Bible. These are being sent mainly to encourage and motivate you to read and to study your own Bibles regularly. God bless you all.
Learn the Bible series, program number 127, Bible Depths Notes, part 9, portion 4, pages 4, 5, 6, the book of 1 John, lesson 2. Thirdly, 1 John 3:17, can a believer be rich? What does the Bible say about it? It is not at all wrong. But what should such a believer do with his excess riches? John says that he must give liberally to the poor. This is exactly what Lord Jesus had also said in Luke 16:9. Fourthly, 1 John 3:23, John condenses the entire 10 commandments mentioned in Exodus 21-17 into a single verse. There are 2 parts in it. The first part says that we should believe only on the Lord Jesus Christ. This is the abbreviation of the first 4 commandments. How only a person believing on Lord Jesus Christ would not have any other God, would not make any images, would not take his name in vain, and keep the resurrection day of the Lord holy. The second part says that a believer must show his love on one another. This is the epitomization of the last 6 commandments. Honoring the parents would reveal a believer's love on them. A believer who loves his neighbor would not do any of the things mentioned from the 5th to the 10th commandments. Helping one another, especially the poor, is one of the central thoughts of the whole Bible, running as a continuous thread from Genesis to Revelation. We shall see some examples. What does the Bible say about helping the poor, which is another expression of loving one another? 1. In Deuteronomy 15:11, God did not give it as an advice, but He has given it as a command to the Israelites. 2. Leviticus 19:9-10. God tells the Israelites that after they reached Canaan and harvested their freely received vineyards, they should leave the scattered grapes in the field itself for the poor and the strangers to pick them up, because they did not earn those lands, and all the lands belonged only to him. Deuteronomy 15:7, 8 and 10. God tells the Israelites to liberally help the poor, and when they did so, all their works would get blessed, and whatever they did would prosper also. So if a believer keeps on going through poverty in life, what should he do? He need not hunt for a servant of God and ask him to pray, but he should begin helping the poor when he would be blessed by God in everything he does, and he would become prosperous. Proverbs 19:17, what does Solomon say about helping the poor? How is God? Haggai 2:8 and Deuteronomy 10:14. The entire universe is God's. He never has any lack. But even such an omni-rich God becomes a borrower to the person who helps a poor man and repays him the money he had given to the poor man. No one can say, I myself am poor, so how can I help another poor person? It is always possible for a believer to find a person poorer than him. As helping the poor is so important in a believer's life, what can be done by a believer? A Bible scholar gives this practical advice. He says that after setting aside his monthly tithe amount to God, a believer can set aside another 1/10 of his earnings for just 1 month alone, also to help the poor. He can use that money to help many poor people who come across him during that entire month. According to Proverbs 19:17, that money would get returned to the believer by God before the end of the month. The believer can actually see that money staying surplus in his hands after meeting all the essential expenses of that month, because God's words would never fail. Then that money can be used for helping the poor in the second month. At the end of the second month also, it would get returned by God, and so by just setting aside an amount to help the poor in just 1 month, the poor people can be helped throughout the lifetime of the believer. Then what will be the reward? The balance in the heavenly account of that believer would keep on increasing month after month and reward him when he stands before the Lord on the day he leaves this world. How does the devil try to stop a believer from helping the poor or showing love on another? It is only by making him selfish. A selfish man would never love anyone else. We shall continue this lesson in our next program. God bless you all.